fun adventure for this morning is the Safari Fjord. We are going to be getting in a 12-person small little rib boat. It's kind of like a raft essentially with some seats on it. And we're going to be getting up close and personal with some waterfalls and the fjords in general, and just kind of see where they take us. It's a 2-hour excursion this morning. I booked it separately outside of Royal. Super easy to find, right on the dock.
The ship is right there.
Literally right there. I've heard really good things about this. It has excellent reviews, and I thought for our adventure-loving boys that this would be absolutely perfect. So I'm so excited for this morning, and thankful for my parents for watching Paxton so that we were able to do this.
Yeah, definitely. We're excited. It's going to be a really good time. I can't wait to see the country from the ocean. So it's going to be incredible to get an up close and personal look. Kids are all dressed up. This was provided. There are extra sizes. I mean, there are sizes given to you. You got the XS. I got the. I'm going to show you my sleeve, even though nothing's listed. I think I got the large. That's okay. It doesn't. It's not important. Yeah, we're going to be given goggles. This is all covered through the price of the excursion.
They have lockers here too for any.
I threw my backpack in there, and.
They also have a shorter option. They have a 1-hour option and a 2-hour option, but I definitely learned my lesson with the Kualoa Ranch.
Yep. So we'll be doing the 2 hours.
All good. Okay, with the tightness. Then we try like this one. Okay. Snug, but not too tight. Yeah, it should be snug, yeah. And then the goggles right there.
Thank you.
Okay, the boats are here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 12-person boat, like Ashley said. So we're going to be strapped in and ready to go. Again, right beside the ship. You can see the North Star up above. I'm sure those are some amazing views. We are excited. Okay, and we are off. See you later, Anthem.
The name of this waterfall is Stegastein. This is the tallest waterfall we have on our trip. From the bottom to the top, it's about 600 meters high. And back in the days, they put a sawmill on top of that waterfall where the water powered the whole mill. And still today in Norway, most of the electricity made is actually from water. I think the number last year was over 90% of all electricity. So Norway is one of the greenest production of electricity in the world. Well done, Norway. Yeah. Now, if we would have come as close as we did in April when we have the largest snow melt, this boat would be completely soaked and tip over. Wow. So we're now at the very end of the melting period. But yeah, if you come back in the summer when it's a little bit warmer, we remove the windshield and we try to drive you into the waterfall. No. Yeah. But now it's about 3 degrees in the water, so I don't think they want to do that.
We're going into the waterfall.
Are actually 2 different farms. There's one a little bit further up on the cliff which is called Övre Stigen Gård, and the one you're seeing here is the Nedre Stigen Gård. So it's the upper ladder farm and the lower ladder farm. Now the only way to get to this place is first you have to go by boat to the boathouse you see right over here by the cliff.
Okay.
Can everyone see the boathouse?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow,
And then you just hike up the cliff. Simple as that.
How do they build up there?
How did they build it up there? So I do know that we were up there a few weeks talking about that farm with the owners, and they told us that they actually built it from the materials in the forest around it back in the 13th century. So it's a very old place. The only thing they didn't make was of course the glass with the windows that they had to bring from Undredal. But the only way to bring up material was to carry it up the cliff right here. So if you look on the waterfall right here, there's a cliff on the right hand side sticking out a little bit. That's the one you need to zigzag to get up to the top. So the trail is very hard to spot due to the vegetation, but believe me, it's there. Yeah. So for me, it took about 1 hour, 10 minutes, and I went up with a couple of 80-year-olds. So I think for most of you, it would be a lot faster. And if you want to go up there, it's actually a bed and breakfast today. It's not a farm. It's a little conference center. They have weddings, bed and breakfasts, and they have 7 rooms.
Wow.
So you should know though, even though you like hiking, it's hard to get a room. There's a 3-year waiting list. Yeah. And there's no electricity, nor any running water, and you have to carry all your things yourself. No luggage service. Sounds interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how normal Norwegians used to live back in the days, just because they needed flat, farmable soil. And that's also the reason why so many in the US actually have ancestors from Norway, because especially in the western part of Norway, where there's a lot of mountains, a lot of the people got sick and tired of the mountains and moved to, for example, Minnesota, which is very flat. Yeah, that's the simple truth.
Got some goats up there. We're gonna have to zoom in on those things. Look how far up. I feel like we're so close, yet they're like specks.
I know.
Wow.
This makes you see like how big the mountains really
So everybody,
Yeah.
can you hear them calling?
Yeah.
Can you hear them?
I think they hear them. I think they said help.
Yeah, they said help, more or less. Well, actually, these are some of the 400 goats from Undredal right here. And the reason they are put on this slope is because some of them are actually born in January. They need to learn to climb, to socialize. So the farmer put them here for about 3 months straight. And since they saw me coming right now, they're calling for me because they think I'm the owner coming to pick them up.
They're like, help me.
Yeah, more or less. So if I go too close, they will run down and jump in the boat.
Oh wow.
Yes, so we don't want that to happen. I have enough passengers as it is. Yeah.
Do you know from experience?
Yes. Well, we haven't tried it, I should say. No. But as you can tell, the reason why they're here, they're excellent climbers. They're the only animal that can withstand these mountains right here.
Wow.
Cows would tip over. I mean, imagine a cow up here. That wouldn't work. And sheep, they would also tip over. So yeah, goats, Norwegian fjord goats, they are the best for the job.
Wow.
That's also why the vegetation here is so clean, because they eat everything.
And do they just stay up on that cliff, or do they come down here closer to the water? Or
Everywhere they want to go. Yeah, everywhere where you see grass, that's where they go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
so we can see them almost up at the top sometimes.
Wow.
I've been probably around here 2,000 times. I've never seen anyone fall. They're just excellent climbers.
Wow.
Some of them are probably 5 months old.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how they live their first year of life out here, and then they go to the farms. Of course, they go into the valley as well, but the first year they'll be here and just learn to how to be a goat, more or less.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Sorry. So you see the big black guy to the right?
Yeah.
The big with the big horns. That's the Grandpa Billybok. So he's the dad to most of these kids right here, or the grandpa.
Wow.
So he's the boss. Yeah.
I'm always coming. Look at the seal.
Yeah, so we don't stop here because she'll be white. There we go. So she's now probably very afraid of us because the boat looks like a killer whale. And also here ahead of us, we look like we have some in the water. You see two small heads popping up in the water on our left right here. Yeah, you can stand up if you want. Yeah, see them in the water right there? And then the white one on the beach right there. See it? Yeah. Right over there.
Look at amazing.
About 250 meters across and about 10 meters deep. And you can also see right here how the fjord would look without water. So if you look straight ahead of you, you see the kind of U-shaped valley right here. Yeah, see the slopes coming down? Makes the letter U. So how these fjords were formed a long time ago is that we've had somewhere around 30 different ice ages in this part of Norway. And these mountains here are very old. The way you can tell it is because the peaks are not there. So the ice has been both on top of the mountains and in the cracks between the mountains. And what happens is every time the ice starts to melt, well, ice moves quite a bit. And there's a lot of friction in play, which means the ice will act like sandpaper. So that both smoothens out the valley and the top of the mountains. So if you go, for example, to the Himalayas, Mount Everest, you have a very peaky mountain, which means these mountains are a lot younger than the mountains here in Norway. So what is a fjord? Well, if you look up in a dictionary, it's an inlet from an ocean, U-shaped valley created by the ice after the ice age, glaciers. So you're now in the most beautiful one in the world, at least according to me.
Over here. Wow, the camp is set up.
Fjords. We see the boat right over there. You see a little bridge behind it. There's a river running down. So that's where the fjord actually ends. Around the river right here we have a village known as Gudvangen. And if you translate that name to English, it means a gathering point of God. So the local Vikings, amongst others, were the people that lived here, and they prayed heavily to God in this village right here. The reason why you built a Viking village here was because there was only two ways to get here. They were very safe. It's either the valley or the fjord. It's the very end of the fjord, which means they were protected. Now the village, the Vikings were here probably around 1,000 years ago, 9th century up until early 12th century. And they came to Gudvangen to, of course, pray, to trade their goods, because they stole a lot of things from all over the world, and to rest up, because they traveled for quite a bit. Some of the gods I think some of you are familiar with. You would have the most popular one, of course, Thor, the hammer of lightning. You would have his father Odin, his brother Loki, sister Freya, and a bunch of other gods. But there's actually one god that's very important because he named this fjord. And that god, nowadays we call him Njord. He was the god over the fortune and fame for the Vikings. He controlled the wind and the oceans. So you needed to keep him happy, because when you were out on the ocean, you needed just enough wind, just enough waves, and of course luck to bring a lot of things back to trade. And why is the fjord called Narøy? Well, that's how you pronounce this name during the Viking Age, the Narøy Fjord. If you want to know more about the Vikings, there is now a Viking museum on the left side of the river right here, which is about half an hour drive from Flam. So if you're into Vikings, I would highly recommend a visit here. Now there's one more thing about the Vikings I would like to tell you, because not a lot of people know it. But in modern technology, there's actually a very important remaining from the Viking Age. In the 12th century, there was a Danish Viking lord called Harald Blåtand who introduced Christianity to the Vikings. And if you translate Blåtand to English, Bluetooth. So the symbol of Bluetooth is his initials in rune writing put together, the B in Bluetooth. So I think some of you probably didn't know that, but yeah, that's a Viking remain in modern technology. Now also everyone, before we turn around, I want you to look up to your left, really high up to your left. That right there is the highest waterfall we have on the fjord. That starts at over 800 meter altitude and it's actually in the top 20 highest waterfalls in the world. I believe it's on 18th spot. So out of the top 20 highest waterfall in the world, Norway have 8 of the top 20. So we have a lot. All right, everyone. So is the temperature still fine? Everyone's feeling okay? More waves? Yeah, we'll see. So we're gonna turn around, go back the same way we came. I have a few more stops up my sleeve as well. We're gonna go back all the way to the 2 villages we just passed that we didn't stop by at all, and to go to the one on the left, which is called Dyrdal. It was very beautiful. I think some of you took a lot of photos of it. And we're gonna go there and visit the lonely man that lives there, because in the village there's only one person living. Yeah, his name is Arild. He's 78 years old. And we call him the loneliest man on the fjord. Everybody, I talked about the one man who's living here alone. He lives in the village ahead of us called Dyrdal. So the name of this gentleman is Arild Dyrdal, same last name as the village name, and he's 79 years old. And we call him the loneliest man on the fjord for a very good reason, because he's the only permanent resident in these 2 villages here, the one behind us and the one ahead of us. And the story with this man is that he was born in the village, but when he was in his early 20s, he moved to Oslo because he couldn't find a job around here, which is not hard to understand. So he became a teacher and lived in Oslo for about 40 years. And over that period of time, he got married, he had children, sadly got divorced as well. And when he found out that the village had no residents when he was about 60, he got homesick and actually moved back. But this is a very beautiful place, and as you can tell, it's far from everything. There's actually no road access to this place. So the only way to get here, even in the winter, is by boat. Wow.
Which house does he live in?
Sorry?
Which house does he live in?
Oh, he lives in the green-gray house with a white porch. The reason why we would stop right here is of course that the 2 fjords combine to each other. The beautiful Fjord and the beautiful Fjord right here. But we're actually not on the main fjord. The main fjord is called Fjord, which is Norway's longest fjord, and you find her about 10 kilometers to the north, where the ship came in this morning, some of you that came in with the Anthem of the Seas. And I'm gonna try to show you how long this fjord is using my arm. So I'm gonna extend my arm right here, and my whole arm will be the fjord system of Fjord. In the most eastern part of Fjord, we have 5 major branches, babies sticking out, and we are on the most southern one, my pinky, which is called the Fjord. Now, if I would have had a 6th finger, which would be very strange, sticking out from the middle of my pinky, that would be Fjord. So this is how the fjord looks. Now from this way down to Flam, it's 17 kilometers, 10 miles. And from here to Gudvangen, the same distance. But if we continue up through the fjord, out to the ocean, through the whole of my arm, it would be about 100 miles, 160 kilometers before you actually reach the ocean. So it's a very long fjord. The total length of the fjord is over 200 kilometers from the ocean to the end of Fjord, a village called Skjolden, 206 kilometers, I believe, 133 miles. But what's more interesting is depth. This right here is the deepest part of our tour. it's about 500 meters deep right here. So 1700 feet. And that's just a really big number. It's hard to comprehend. So if we look on the mountain here on our right hand side, that mountain is 670 meters tall.
Wow.
If you're from the US, that's 2 Empire State Buildings. If you're from Europe, 2 Eiffel Towers, 1,000 baguettes. So it's quite high, and that's more or less as deep as it is below us right here. Now, I did tell you how the fjords were made a long time ago. Yeah. I told you about glaciers and everything like that, but it was actually a lie. Because we're from Norway, we have Norwegians in the front here, and we are really smart. And in every family, there's always one person that knows a lot better. Doesn't matter if they're from Norway, from the US, from Belgium. Grandma always know best. Bestemor, yeah? She always know best. Because grandmas, in this country especially, will tell you that trolls made this fjord. Ikke sant? Ja. Trolls gjorde fjorden. Ja. So the story might vary a little bit on who is telling it. But my grandma was Norwegian, and she told me that there were a really big troll having a digging competition, using a chisel to dig out the fjord right here. He was competing to the other trolls, making the other fjords. But this troll here was really big, and it was one of the fastest diggers in the whole of Norway. So at night time, this giant troll, he was digging with his chisel, night in and night out, for a very long time. But one morning, this troll was very tired, and in his digging, he forgot the sun was rising. And if you do know about trolls, do we know what happens to trolls in sunlight? They turn to stone, correct. Trolls turn to stone if they get hit by sunlight. So the troll right here, he was tired, but he saw the sun rising, so he tried to flee back to his cave. He threw his chisel and started running. And the chisel landed on the side of the fjord and became Mount Beiteland right here. Because Beitel in English means chisel. Now the troll himself, well, he didn't sadly make it back to his cave. But in a desperate attempt to kind of shelter his body, he closed his fist, put them up on top of his head, and sadly the sun hit him. He turned to stone and fell face first, landing next to the fjord like this. Can anyone see something that looks like 2 fists? Yeah. The big mountain right here, the big mountain, that would be the left fist, the left knuckle. And far over there, we have the right knuckle. Wow. So when you say grandma knows best, this is the reason right here. Yeah.
Knuckles.
Have you seen the movie Trolls?
I have seen the movie Netflix Trolls. It's a really good Netflix movie. Have anyone seen it more? Yeah. So that's actually shot in Norway, and the end scene I believe is in central Oslo, where of course a troll is waking up. Now there is another story where there's 2 trolls digging out the Sognefjord. So like I said, the story varies a bit, but one of them makes it back to the cave. But the thing is, around here we're very safe, because I didn't know if you saw, there were some power lines over the fjord with orange balloons. Did you see them? Yeah? Those are actually not power lines, they're fences to keep the troll away from Flam and from Gudvangen. And so far, we haven't been attacked.
100%.
100% truth. So this was of course the part, folklores, which is very important around Norway, Scandinavia in general. Trolls. We would have huldra, a siren in the forest, and of course sirens in the sea. So everybody, we're gonna now pass Undredal. You remember the little state church, and I talked about the cheese. And we're just gonna slow down there for a little bit so you can enjoy the view, because that village actually is the main inspiration for a place called Arendelle in a movie called Frozen that some of you might have seen. I'm just gonna slow down so you can actually see it, take some photos, because that's where Elsa lives. But then we're gonna go to Aurland, see if we can find some relatives and just say hi to them before heading back to Fjord.
Perfect.
Sounds good?
Sounds good.
Excellent. Town called Arendal, south of Oslo. And then we have the castle, the waterfall, I think is from Trondheim, from Stavanger. And downtown Bergen sets host to the place where Elsa is dancing in the start of the movie. But the actual village, the view you see in the movie, with some artistical freedom of course, is actually Undredal right here. So if anyone wants to come here, it's about a 20-minute drive from Flam. And you can also take a tour inside the church, where apparently Elsa gets the crown on her head in the movie.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
This is what brought Arendelle and Frozen to life. This town was the inspiration. Very cool.
Bow sticking up on top of the rim right there, yeah, all the way up to the top. So that's a place called Stegastein, which is a platform sticking out about 30 meters from the mountaintop. And the way you get up there is that you go on the road that you see on the slopes of the mountain here, back and forth all to the way to the top. So that road right there was the only road open from 1967 to the year 2000 to get over the mountain to the next valley, the Lærdals Valley. In the year 2000, the tunnel under the mountain opened up, and today that is still the longest car tunnel in the world, measuring 24.5 kilometers, so about 16 miles long.
Wow.
So that mountain, the tunnel took 5 years to build, and the precision was about 3 millimeters when the drills met each other in the middle of the mountain.
Wow.
Now, for those of you who are thinking you want to go up to that viewpoint, it's a good idea to do it as late as possible when there's less tourists. You can take a bus tour from Flam or drive your own car if you want to. And if you do get up there, make sure to go into the toilets. Very important thing to do. The toilets have panoramic windows, and they actually had a fashion magazine ranking that toilet as the best view from a public toilet in the world.
Wow.
Yes. So it's called Poo with a View.
Can you go there by bike?
You can go there by bike, but it's a very narrow road. There's quite a bit of traffic, but you can go there by bike, yes. But everyone, this was the last stop of the tour. We're now gonna head back to Flam, and I'm very happy we got the sun coming back. So yeah, we have about 10-12 minutes to go, so enjoy the way back. We have once again safely made it back to the port of Flam, and now we can see the beautiful Anthem of the Seas from behind right here. This is the longest vessel we're gonna have in the whole season, with 344 meters long. But we actually have in terms of passengers, larger ship coming in on Thursday, which is MSC Euribia, 6,500 passengers. Now the port area right here is very interesting because, like I told you, there's very little room for flat land in this area. So they found already many hundreds of years ago that they would build a little village here called Fjord. The actual city center of Fjord is 3 kilometers up the valley, where you have the church. So this is more or less the tourism center, the harbor, where all the ships come. And historically there's been 2 families owning a lot of the land around the port area right here. On the right side of the ship, the far side, we have the Brekke family that own a lot of the land. And they named the waterfall you see over the hill, about 2 kilometers away, which is called Brekkefossen, or the Brekke waterfall. On this side of the ship right here, the left side, and up on the hill, we have the Fredheim family. The farm you see right there, the orchard, is the Fredheim orchard, Fredheim farm. And the big white hotel at the end of the port was founded by, I think, the great-great-grandfather Fredheim. So it's called the Fredheim Hotel. Now, some of you are, of course, going back on the boat. There are a few hours to kill, and if you need any recommendations what to do, let me know when we come back. I can tell you exactly what you should do. But one thing, of course, is make sure to go to the bakery and have cinnamon buns. That's the one thing you must do. And in Norway, they have a really good bun called solbolle, which is a cinnamon bun filled with vanilla butter custard. Really good, but you're on vacation, so don't count the calories. Yeah. Now I'm gonna make it safe back to port in a few minutes, so just remain seated until I shut off the engine. Then we're gonna exit the boat and head to the lower part where I show you the hand signals. That's where we're gonna undress, so we don't go upstairs. So when we go, we just have a sit down, take your shoes off, and before you leave the suits back, make sure to empty all your pockets. Don't leave any phones, GoPros, anything behind, okay? But everyone, thank you very much for the tour. And if you want to leave a little review on Google Reviews, TripAdvisor, I would be very happy. If you didn't like it, just tell my colleagues up there instead. Don't put it online, okay? Yeah. Yes.
Alright guys, we just finished the Fjord safari and that was absolutely amazing. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Definitely recommend.
Do it again.
Thanks for watching and safe travels.